Join the draft queue. Oh, it started. Well, there's Demonic Tutor, which I've sort of forced myself to draft Storm more to try to get better at it. Outside of that, I don't think that Demonic Tutor is a very good card in the cube. Like, I hate Reanimator. I think it's really bad. I don't even know what else you can do with the black cards. I guess I'm taking Demonic Tutor. I think it's between that and Elvish Mystic. All these other cards are not very appealing. Guess I'm taking Preordain. There is Through the Breach and Exhume. Like I did just say that I hate Reanimator. The reason I hate Reanimator is I just think it's... If you get the perfect Reanimator deck, it's quite good, but it just falls off so hard if you don't get all the pieces. I think I'm just going to take Preordain. Like some of the reanimation spells, like Exhume's not really particularly good, but Reanimate, Animate, Dead, Necromancy, those are all fine cards to play with, but like all the other pieces to it are just really bad cards if you don't have the perfect setup for them. So we've got Duress. And not much else, I guess. You take a land. I can't believe that they added Yavimaya to the cube. They should get rid of Urborg and Yavimaya. They're just too annoying to have in play on Magic Online. Well, it's new art for the Dark Confidant. It's kind of nice, I guess. Man, this is not starting very well. I guess I should take Dark Confidant. Maybe I'm supposed to be like a lower to the ground aggressive black deck. Doesn't seem like something that was going to work out all that often. If I am being this more aggressive black deck, what would I want to pair it with? I mean, I could be blue and just use my Preordain, but I don't know. That's doesn't sound that great to me. Maybe I'll just take Robert. What does this card do? It's okay. Doesn't seem great. There's a new card in the cube. It's like some sort of pirate. It's like this gut was a hit the last time, and the new pirate card is so much better than this, I think. I'm just going to take Inquisition, though. Continue to try to keep my options open. Well, this pack has 6 lands in it. I guess I'll take the black land. Yawgmoth's Will. If I'm still considering being Storm, I guess it's a good pick. This Yawgmoth's Will, like, you need some pretty specific cards to go with it. There is also Soul Guide Lantern, which I think is just a very good card in general. I think I'll take Soul Guide Lantern. does this one do? I guess I'm taking it. Is there any chance I'm actually going to play green? Probably not. I guess if I did switch into green, Delighted Halfling would be the best card, but doesn't seem particularly good. I think even if I play red-black, I'm not going to play with Talisman of Indulgence. I've come around to the talismans being decent to good if you're actually in a deck with, payoffs for having artifacts in your deck. But I think these are just bad cards if you're like a normal 2-color deck that doesn't have payoffs for artifacts. Mox Emerald. Not the ideal Mox, but not the worst. Somebody type something in the chat, please. Animate Dead. I think it's that or Blood Crypt. Thank you, Sean. Now have faith that the stream is live. Or it was just a coincidence. I do find that they switched to the old frame fetches to be very disorienting. Because if you don't look closely, I always think that I'm getting the fetch land instead of with the shocks is what I meant. The old border shocks. And this is really going bad. I don't like anything that's going on. I guess I'm taking Lurrus. And maybe playing it in my main deck. It's also possible I could actually... I was going to say it's possible I could companion it still, but I'm going to take Sheoldred here, and I definitely want to play with that in my deck, so I'm not going to companion Lurrus. Currency Converter's a really good card, but I don't think it's going to be very good in this deck. Unless I wind up... I guess if I pivot into actually being more reanimation, it's probably a good card. The other choice is to take Zeator's Proving Ground, which would be fine. I don't think this is Rada's Firebrand. I don't think it's a playable card in any deck. It's just a blank piece of paper in this cube. Yawgmoth, I don't think I have enough support to make good. So we'll take the Currency Converter. I didn't even take the Yawgmoth's Will, right? Lightning Bolt it is. I do like that I at least have a lot of cheap cards. Definitely not trying to companion Lurrus at this point, so I'm just going to take Graveyard Trespasser over Evolved Sleeper. Put any of these cards in my deck. I guess maybe Sunbaked Canyon, but other than that, no. At worst, Cut Down is a decent sideboard card. Hopefully it doesn't make my main deck. I could take Manamorphose, but I don't really... It doesn't really fix my mana very well. These are mostly black cards. I'm not going to play a ton of. I mean, I guess it's a way to convert single red into double red, which I'm sort of in the market for, but I think it's wouldn't be a particularly good inclusion. Is this a good card in my deck? Probably not. Hopefully I don't play it. Green is obviously very open, but I didn't see any of the green cards I actually like at the start of the draft. And I haven't stumbled on any green dual lands. I guess I'm taking Yawgmoth. I continue to maintain that I do not, under any circumstances, want to wind up with Arata's Firebrand in my deck. Even if I was mono red, I would not play with it. So there's Bitter Reunion for a little bit more reanimation kind of stuff. I passed the Exhume in the first pack. I don't think I've seen the Reanimate or the Necromancy. So it is still possible. The other options are like take Flesh Gorger or Phiomancer. I guess I'm just going to take Bitter Reunion. I think I'll probably wheel one of these 3-drops. I don't think I really care about any of the other cards. This is not a Doomsday deck, sadly. Valky's pretty good. Shallow Grave. Not really in the market for that. I think I'm just going to take Prismatic Vista. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm kind of low on spells I like, but I don't think I'm going to miss Goldspan Dragon. Rankle. Also Blood Tithe Harvester. I think I just want Rankle. Was it curtains for me? I don't think so. There's Trumpeting Carnosaur, which if I had like one more reanimation spell, I think I would definitely be interested in. I think instead I'm just going to play Delayed Blast Fireball, because Delayed Blast Fireball, at least in the matchups where it's good, it's really, really good. I would like to get couple more creatures, because this deck is a little bit light on threats. There we go, creature, Soulscar Mage, just what I always wanted. What do I have in green? I have Grist, which is a pretty good card. I think I'll take Taiga. I have the Mox Emerald and the Prismatic Vista already. So I think I can pretty easily play Grist. What does this thing do? It's terrible, right? Why did it take Rankle over the Harvester? I just think it's a more powerful card. Also, there's a reasonable chance that the Harvester wheels. I don't think I can take advantage of Underworld Breach. I guess I'm taking this, and sadly I might actually have to play it. So I probably want to play like 16 lands and a Mox. Ooh, nice. Seasoned Pyromancer. That will help me. As expected, one of the 3 drops wheel, but I'll probably get it into play as a 7 drop. So we'll put it over here. Hellrider or nothing. My mana is not going to be good enough to support Mutavault, especially if I'm going to stick to playing the green, which I think it's probably worth it. I think Grist is going to be a pretty good card for me. Oh, I love this card. This isn't even a very good deck for it. I'm not sure I even noticed it was in the pack the first time around. But I think it's worth playing. I'm not going to have enough green in my deck that I'm going to want to include Once Upon a Time. I think Escape to the Wilds is like my pick for the card that's the most undervalued right now in the cube. The Harvester didn't wheel. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Why does it even... Oh, because of Lurrus. That's why it's thinking I want to play white. I don't want to play white. Should probably just be a swamp. So how much green mana do I actually have? I kind of wish I'd taken that Manamorphose at this point. I wasn't thinking I would be splashing, though. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands. And I can eventually get green out of the currency converter. All right, I think that's good. This deck is like, at best, a 5 out of 10, I would say. I definitely want to hold off on using this Vista for at least a little bit because it's not really clear what color land I should get. This could be a problem. I hope that they have an infinite turn combo turn 1, but then they don't have any way to kill me with their infinite turns and they just die to the Mana Crypt. What are the odds that that's going to happen? Probably pretty slim. Oh, I've already dealt damage to them. What did they call? They called heads. They were wrong. Okay. Okay. This is all fine. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. guess this game's going to be so hard to win. I don't even know what to do. Guess I'm going to play Seasoned Pyromancer and then hope to use Grist next turn. That's the easy one to get rid of. Guess I'm going to get rid of Lurrus too. Oh, but they chose Tails that time and they won the flip. So far it's been Tails twice. For the people who are writing that down at home. Could be important. Yeah, I think we can move on from that one. All right. That was a rough beginning. I want cut down. Probably over the Soul Guide Lantern against green and white. Or I guess they were just mono green. They had a land that could produce white, but probably was not in their deck for white mana. I'm going to go with the discard option there. You know, sometimes people like to not discard to bid a reunion and just have the awesome ability in play, but I like to discard. So far, this is starting out okay for me. I wouldn't say it's going great, but it's going okay. I guess I'm just getting Animate Dead. Why did I discard my only 3-drop? Because I was planning on getting Animate Dead with Demonic Tutor. If I didn't find something better to play, I don't know. I think playing that thing as a 3/3 lifelink on turn 3 is not really a recipe for success. It's going to work out probably pretty good here. Should get to Ether Garrick for free, probably. Okay. So they do have planes in their deck. Interesting. Please work. It worked. Kept 2 cards. Greedy. And they played a Mulligan Mox. I'm probably going to lose this game, but I strongly object to the idea that you should put Exploration and Chrome Mox in your deck at the same time. So their plan is to just have Kogla attack and blow up the Animate Dead. That's a good plan. You saw I uploaded some neat alchemy decks, especially Jeskai Control. I'm not sure. Do you mean like on Untapped? I thought about making a video with Jeskai Control, but then it wasn't particularly good, so I didn't. I've been playing Dinopod in Alchemy. I'll probably make some Alchemy videos once the new Alchemy cards come out next week. Update some decks. On MTG Deck Masters. I don't even know what that is. But it is true that I played Jeskai Control some in Alchemy before deciding it wasn't very good. It wasn't horrible, but it suffered from the same problem that control decks basically all suffer from in Modern Magic, where you don't really ever kind of get an advantage. I only have single black mana. That's kind of annoying. Really don't want a Demonic Tutor for a swamp, but I think I might have to. If I don't do that this turn and next turn I don't draw a swamp, there just aren't very many good draws for me. I guess I could have just pitched the Rankle to the Bone Shards. Maybe that would have been better. I don't know. Guess they could have Tarmogoyf in their deck, so I'll eat random things out of my graveyard. I think I'm just going to go with each player discards a card. This does mean they're going to get to connect with the Deeproot Wayfinder, but my only option to prevent that from happening would have been to just play Sheoldred instead of Rankle, because the Exalted meant that the Trespasser wasn't going to be able to block. I think given that they were down to only 2 cards in their hand, it was worth just dealing damage faster and taxing their hand some. I've been playing a decent amount of Alchemy and actually enjoying it. I think it's just actually a pretty good format. Think I'm probably going to do each. I'm not going to choose draw, so I'm not going to put the Shieldred into play pre-combat. Just going to hit him and choose each person discards. Obviously, had I put the Shieldred in play, they would have been forced to block, so it wouldn't have worked out. That worked out pretty well. Orzhov seems to have the best cards in Alchemy right now. It has a lot of good cards. The people who seem to be doing the best, though, are people who are playing blue-white. Like, aggressive blue-white, where you play a bunch of the cards that make, like, clues or maps. And, like, Case of the Filched Falcon, stuff like that. Those decks are just very fast, has been my experience. I am kind of tired of playing against the Juggernaut Peddler. Is that the name of the card? Plus Porcine Portent and Rusko. Like, that shell gets played more than I would say it would be to my preference. I guess we're just gonna probably Bitter Reunion next turn. Suppose I want this Mox in play in case they Time Twister or something. They're good but fold to Temporal Lockdown. Yeah, I agree that Temporal Lockdown would be really good against the Artifact aggro decks. I think it's somewhat hard card to play, at least in your main deck in Alchemy. I'll be converting that swamp into a treasure, please. It's a pretty good juicy target to Glorybringer. I think the most annoying thing about Alchemy right now is just the fact that Reprieve is legal. Like, Reprieve really feels like a power level outlier, given that most of the decks are, I guess they're not less powerful than standard decks, but they're not in a great spot. So I guess I want to just haste this thing at Duretti so that if they want to kill the Glory Bringer, they have to lose their Duretti. Isn't it sort of hard to play temporary lockdown in control decks, at least in your main deck, because it's so many people have just incidental cards that blow up artifacts and enchantments in Alchemy. What's this guy's full name? Duretti Ingenious Iconoclast. This is one of the cards they added back into the cube. I skimmed through the changes. I forget which. This might be the card that got added in place of Valakut Exploration, which I actually liked Valakut Exploration a lot. I was sad to see that one removed. What do you think why are they playing all these different colors? I'll take it. I was really hyped to play No More Lies and Reprieve in the same deck together, and it was pretty strong in a lot of matchups, but it also, I don't know, I didn't like that it made my deck kind of bad against Cavern of Souls, just having all the No More Lies. And I also didn't like that if you played against the white-red, like Knight of Eos decks, they just had so many more cheap, they had like so many cheap cards and you were trying to beat them with 2-mana counters. I felt like it was easy to lose those matchups. I like this card a lot, the Staff of the Storyteller. I wonder what set it's from. I don't know what that symbol means. Does that mean it's a commander card? This doesn't feel like... This card is good, but I think it probably wouldn't be too good if it was in standard. Like, it would probably be a card that would be good enough to get people to actually play with tokens, whereas right now there's, like, not a whole lot of point to it. It's a Kamigawa Commander. Surely you can't have this be your commander, though. Who's the Storyteller? You've been seeing a lot of Roots decks in Standard on Arena. I haven't played Standard on Arena really at all, so I don't know. I saw on Twitter that Sam Black was playing. Is there something I can tutor for that would win me the game right away? I know I have Lightning Bolt in my deck. Don't think there's anything I can get. So the question is, should I currency convert first and see if there's something I'd rather play, or should I just tutor for something for next turn? I think I'm going to currency convert to start. Is it possible I want green mana? I guess it is possible. I guess I'll tutor now, just in case I was wrong and there was something better to get. So I could get Valky. Oh, I could have won. I could have tutored for Delayed Blast Fireball. I forgot that was in my deck. Yeah, I guess I'll get Valky now. It's kind of disappointing. There, in Alchemy, there's some really good Insidious Roots decks. There's this Alchemy card called, well, there's a 3/3 that makes funguses. It puts like 2 funguses in your graveyard, and then there's this 4/4 black creature, the Chitinous something. That this my explanation of what these cards are is you're just gonna have to look at Alchemy spoilers to try to identify them. I have no idea what their names are, but it's pretty powerful. I don't really pay attention to what's happening in Paper. Do people actually play Standard in Paper at their local stores now? I have a hard time wanting to play Standard on Arena when you can just play Alchemy instead. Like you don't. At least my experience when you play Alchemy is you play against more new decks, and there's less of like playing against a Wedding Announcement and Wandering Emperor for the 7 millionth time. Oh no. Did I do something bad and now I'm going to lose? What? Why was that the best thing they could get? I guess maybe they probably have like Blightsteel Colossus in their deck and it wasn't going to be enough to live. I was worried they were going to get the 9 mana portal to Phyrexia. You like Historic the most. I haven't really tried Historic since Timeless came out. And I didn't play Timeless very much. Like I didn't really like Timeless very much. But I sort of assumed that with Timeless people were just going to stop playing Historic. Okay. It's actually pretty good for them. This thing can only exile artifacts, right? It is in their hand. Whoever said that, you were right. They have a creature land, they have the Bivouac. I really botched this game pretty bad, not killing them last turn. Obviously, they need to top deck here, but it wouldn't take that much for them to at least get to the point where they live another turn. I do have a really high life total, so it'll take them a while to kill me if they turn things around. Oh, Mind Twist. They just gave me a free treasure. Nice. That wasn't just a Mind Twist to see what, like, another card from my deck and then concede. They appear to be actually trying to do something still. I guess if they drew a sweeper, it would prolong the game. I think Sunfall would probably... Oh, all right. They did give up. They stopped trying to cast whatever it was. So this is another matchup where Cut Down's going to be better than Soul Guide Lantern. I always start Soul Guide Lantern whenever I have it in the cube, because the matchups where it's good, it's just like a 10 out of 10. If someone's trying to reanimate stuff from their graveyard, or they're trying to win with Underworld Breach or Yawgmoth's Will, and it's like it's never completely useless because it cycles for such a low amount of mana. And even against decks that aren't really all in on the graveyard, most people have at least something that has something to do with their graveyard. The Leyline Binding or the Lotus Cobra? Probably the Leyline Binding. Because I'm going to Bitter Reunion away the Flesh Gorger and then animate Dead It. Just start hitting them. If they had more lands in their hand, I might have taken the Lotus Cobra. Oh, boo, I don't get my currency converter value. Oh, I guess it didn't. They had the Flooded Strand and they top decked the Forest. That's what happened. I was like, did I really leave them with Lotus Cobra when they had a fetch land they were going to have? But it's because they top decked the Forest. So they've got Escape to the Wild, Staff of the Storyteller, Flooded Strand, Skull Clamp, and one unknown right now. And just top decked another land. I guess then maybe they're about to play Skull Clamp and Skull Clamp away the token. I was going to say if they didn't do that, I was just going to delay Blast Fireball them. Do you think this person was trying to draft Domain? Is that why their deck is like this? I don't really understand how you would wind up with this as a deck. It's like a lot of colors and a lot of cards that I wouldn't say really go together particularly well. But maybe they have stuff like Omnath or Golos or something that made them want to draft like this. Are they improvising? They're tinkering. Okay. That's pretty powerful. How can I get out of this? Things have gone poorly. It doesn't really seem like I'm going to be able to win just killing my own Flesh Gorger turn after turn. Oh, I can't even play this. Yeah. Probably should have this in my deck. But over what? Maybe the Bone Shards? I haven't played anything that I'd be that excited to kill. The Lantern doesn't work particularly well against that portal because I can't exile my own graveyard, which is what I think I would want to be able to exile. You don't hate Hellrider here? I think it's pretty weak. Maybe it's better than Lurrus. Kind of think it's probably not better than Lurrus. I'm going to Lurrus back my Goblin Crater Maker and blow up all their stuff. All of their colorless stuff. Like their Coalition Relic and that portal. This is not a good hand. This is also not a good hand. This is a better hand. I think I'm going to bottom Grist and Inferno Titan. It's a good strategy to mull the 5 when you have the Robert of the Rich in your deck. So you can right away start getting the Robert triggers. Come on, steal something I can cast next turn. Woo, not bad. I could even cast it this turn, but I think I'll hold off on that. His opponent was playing at a reasonable speed up until 5 or 10 minutes ago, and then things have just really ground to a halt. Maybe what they're doing is they're trying to verify by checking the deck, what's left in their deck, that the card exiled is indeed the Everflowing Chalice. Just making sure that Arena's not lying to them. I think I'm going to play the Chalice this turn rather than just using Delayed Blast Fireball to finish off the Sylvan Caryatid. And I can also play the Dark Confidant. I was thinking I would probably attack first before playing Delayed Blast Fireball. But now that there's also this 1/1 Spirit token, I'm just going to play it first. Is that definitely what I want to do this turn? Alternately, I could just Glorybringer, killing the Lotus Cobra. This doesn't hit my own creatures, right? Oh, I forgot to play my land. I don't get the trigger. That was bad. I was thinking that it wouldn't matter, that because I had mulled to 5 that this thing was just going to continue to keep working, but I drew the extra card from the Dark Confidant, threw everything off. Are there only 5 of 30 alchemy cards spoiled so far? Honestly, I have no idea. I know that they come out on March 5th, but I don't really pay attention to them before then. Hopefully there's some good new dinosaurs. I need a better 5-drop dinosaur, I think. Or maybe I need a better 6-drop dinosaur. Oh, I read the Perforated Crocodile. That didn't seem like a very good card to me. I mean, it's good if you're trying to put a bunch of copies of Stab Wound into play, I guess. Is the Flyer Dino not good enough? I don't know what that one is. I always wonder when I play against people like this and they're playing Vintage Cube, have they just started playing Magic Online and they don't really know how to make the program work, but they just want to play Vintage Cube? Or there can't possibly still be people that are sitting around like triple queuing Magic Online anymore, right? So they probably, if they were thinking, they made the top of their deck a card that they don't want because of the Robber of the Rich. Hooland is a nice draw there. It is frustrating to play against people who play slowly, but Magic Online there is a pretty steep learning curve to learning how to play it fast. But you basically just have to learn what the keyboard shortcuts do. And you have to commit to memory like what places you've chosen to put stops, so you know how to manipulate that fast. I think I should win pretty easily as long as they don't tinker the portal into play this turn. If they tinker the portal into play, I could be in trouble. Any chance I look at Standard with Murders and Markov cards? Probably not. The lack of rotation really just killed Standard for me. Probably should have done some math to make sure I'm going to kill them if they have nothing, but I was going too fast. I do kill them. Okay. I had the 1 point to spare. I didn't need to exert the Glorybringer. It would have been a crime to not represent lethal that turn. Power creeping is pseudo rotation anyway, but wasn't Murders of Markov Manor like a fairly weak set? Like outside of Insidious Roots and No More Lies, and I guess Novice Inspector, are there really many cards that people are going to play with? Smuggler's Copter, how rude. Guess I'll just play Sheoldred this turn. That was my plan initially, but when I drew the Lightning Bolt for the Smuggler's Copter, it is a little bit tempting to just sit on that. Against blue-white, though, there aren't that many cards they can have that are going to get this Sheoldred off the board. I would guess a typical blue-white deck probably has like 3 or 4 cards in it that could maybe hit it. There's a new vampire that spawned a whole new Pioneer deck. Yeah, I understand that, but that's not a standard deck. It's cool that there's a card that impacted Pioneer, but doesn't mean that it's a standard impacting card. Certainly, you're not going to play with Vein Ripper in standard. There's just no way. Is this optional, or are they forced to take the pain? It's optional. Sadly, this cannot replay lands. Thinking about it, I think that with with sets lasting 3 years now in standard, I'll probably be interested in playing it for like a month every year after rotation, and that's it. Think I'm gonna lightning bolt Loran, I guess, this turn. Rather than holding the lightning bolt for the copter. It's worth 3 damage to me right now, just if I get the Loran out of the way. And they aren't even necessarily able to crew the copter. I should have started by lightning bolting the Loran rather than going after the hero. I think just to see if maybe I gave them more information so they could decide whether or not to activate it. Seems like a pretty bad spot for them to activate it, but maybe they would be in desperation mode and would choose to do it. So I need them to not have Fractured Identity. I think I might actually beat Fractured Identity if they have it. Because I can attack with a 2-2 and a 3-2 and play Delayed Blast Fireball. Yeah, I'll probably beat Fractured Identity. Oh, but they could, if they fracture the Sheolder and then they animate the Copter to block, they get the trigger first. That might actually be enough for them to have lived, but they don't appear to have it. I didn't even have to show them. So I've gotten to play against all like fair creature decks, making the Soul Guide Lantern not a particularly good card. I guess the second deck wasn't. The second deck was just kind of a little bit of everything. Seems like more sets in Standard doesn't mean more decks, but marginal upgrades to the top decks. Yeah, I guess I agree with that. I think a big part of the problem with Standard is just the arena dynamic. Because of the way cards are distributed in Arena, where most people, like, they open packs, but the way they actually make their deck is they craft the rares with wild cards. Like, it just leads to everybody just having the cards for the top decks. So there's none of the dynamic which you would have had at, like, a local game store where somebody was like, I'm going to work on building, like, a new tier 1.5 deck just because I can, like, I can construct the deck for a lot cheaper. Like nobody, there's no reason to try to build a deck based around the like inexpensive rares, which leads to everybody just having the same 2 or 3 decks. That card again, that's a good card. Ow. It's hard to imagine that this was the best way they could represent the art, like visually for Prototype, that this was the best they could do. But it's dead now, so I don't need to worry about that. I guess the best thing I could say about that turn was I didn't take a lot of damage. This doesn't seem very likely to sit and play. I was right. Boo. Thought they might not have a counter because if they had a counter last turn, I think they might have played it instead of remanding the Shieldred. Wait, they didn't even make something with Retrofitter Foundry. That seems like it was just a mistake on their part. Lands do I have left in my deck? 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 6, 12. I have 4 lands left in my deck. Three lands left in my deck. Yes, I'm going to prefer to currency convert rather than play the Robber or the Rich right away. Kind of feels like maybe they have a sweeper in their hand. And they have to have something in their hand. They have 3 cards. And they certainly haven't been putting stuff into play. And they either don't have a counter for the Shieldred or they don't feel like they need to counter the Shieldred. I'll vote for Shieldred. Wow. well supplied with mana. Come on, however you're going to kill the Inferno Titan, please let it go to my graveyard. I hope this is not Swords to Plowshares. Did they already play Swords to Plowshares? They did. They've already played 2 exiling spells. It's Loran. Oh, wait, this isn't... I was confused about what this card he'd go get. It's not a Spell Seeker. Whoa. What's this guy doing showing up to the party? They didn't play the Loran. Am I getting Cryptic Commanded here? Or maybe they just want to use the Foundry and the Staff. I guess if they do have Cryptic, casting any spells to start the turn is pretty bad. So I'm just going to start by seeing if they actually let me attack. What was my favorite period in Magic? I guess like the end of... like the last couple years when Grand Prix were really running in full force. It's probably the best period. Like 2016, 2017, 2018. Yeah, right before Arena. I think that's a good way to put it. I already drew my Duress. It got dazed. I think I still have Inquisition of Kozilek in my deck. That'd be a good card to find here. Demonic Tutor. Am I that into Inquisition of Kozilek that I should get it here? Maybe. I know they have Loran in their hand. I mostly just want them to not have a counter. So they're going to see 2 or 3 cards before next turn. For my next attack, Flicker Wisp. Does that do anything I care about? I guess it makes extra staff activations, but I was already planning on foretelling the Delayed Blessed Fireball, so the Flicker Wisp can eat that. Did I not play a land? I maybe didn't. Nephalia Drownyard control? No, Nephalia Drownyard control is miserable. There's a really funny story with Nephalia Drownyard. The block constructed, Innistrad block constructed Pro Tour, the one Alexander Hayne won. There were these like red-green kind of creature decks, basically just like a red-green creature, Huntmaster of the Fells, and there was this 5-drop that was a 4/4 that gave something else +4/+4. I think Wolfear Silverheart maybe. And those decks would sideboard in Tree of Redemption, which was this 013 that allowed you to gain a ton of life. And so they... I guess I'm going to play this pre-combat. So they would board in this Tree of Redemption, so it just became a life gain thing. So there was one team that decided the tech for beating this like weird red-green mirror where both people boarded into defensive life gain decks was to just have Nephalia Drownyard in their deck, or maybe in their sideboard. But round one of the people on that team gets paired against someone, and they get out their Nephalia Drownyard, and like their Nephalia Drownyard was part of a cycle where Kessig Wolfrun was the red-green part of the cycle. And their opponent's like, you have a Nephalia Drownyard. And the guy's like, yep. And he's like, there's no way. That's just obviously you were using that as a proxy and you forgot to take it out of your deck. So they call a judge over to do a deck check on someone because I have to pay 3 twice, so that's not happening. Because they don't believe that a card that is in their deck isn't just a proxy. That's unfortunate. Now what do I do? But it turned out the person did actually have Nephalia Drownyard in their deck. It's the end of that story. They just had it in their red-green deck. Am I getting to the point where I'm happy if my Dark Confidant dies? Not that I'm running out of life, but I'm running out of deck a little bit. Grist has to mill the plus, right? Yeah. I think I'm fine if my Dark Confidant just trades with a 1/1. How did they get the blue-black mana for the activation? There were like mana creatures that tapped for all colors, or maybe a card that was like Utopia Sprawl or Fertile Ground, something like that. It was possible to get the mana. It wasn't like it was easy, but in a long game, their deck was eventually going to be able to produce the mana. Alright. Mission accomplished if the mission was getting the Dark Confidant to die. Yeah, it turned out they had gone a little bit too deep. The whole format didn't revolve around winning these Tree of Redemption mirrors. Hero of Bladehold. Is this the person that had the Smuggler's Copter in their deck? I think it is. The way this game is played out, I thought that they were a more controlling deck, but it turns out that I just kind of forgot what their deck was from Game 1. They still have Flicker Wisp in their hand, and they never play it. That's this opponent's defining characteristic, is that they never play Flicker Wisp. Let's see if I get to haste this Inferno Titan at them. If not, then I'm going to Lightning Bolt the Hero of Bladehold. I think we're getting to the point where if I drew Loris, I would just play Bitter Reunion and not choose to loot with it. Just Bitter Reunion for the haste option. I do still have Valky in my deck too. Should be a very good draw. Is the Flicker Wisp finally getting played? No, it's something else. Time Spiral. All right. I don't have to worry about decking myself anymore. And I cleverly had all these lands stored outside of my deck, so I don't have to draw them again. That was anticlimactic. Let's go again. Another pretty disappointing pack. When I first started playing Vintage Cube again, I was of the belief that the creature decks were pretty good, so it was fine to put like 1-for-1 creature removal in your deck, and I was picking Dismember pretty highly. And then I just stopped putting cards like that in my deck and started doing better. Or at least tried to avoid playing with cards like that. So I'm not going to first pick Dismember. It's a playable card, but I don't think it's a high pick. This pack is really bad. The choices are like... I don't really want to play White Weenie, so I'm not going to pick Thalia. I'm just going to take Ramunap Excavator. And this is going to be one of the Pray You Get Fast Bond decks. Or I could switch to something else because this pack has a lot of better cards. I think Mox Opal's quite good. I think Teferi Time Raveler's quite good. I guess I'm going to take Teferi. I can't believe Qasali Pridemage is still in this cube. It is really, really underpowered. Oh, Fast Bond. Third pick. Nice. I'm sad that I can't get Valakut Exploration, though. So, usually when I get this set up, I kind of want to play red. But not for these red cards. Don't really want Talisman of Creativity if I'm a Fast Bond deck. Guess it's okay. This card seems really underpowered, but I'll pick it. You introduced your wife to drafting and she always forces her first good rare. That's like a pretty good way to draft with the way modern sets are made. It depends on like how you define good rare. Most sets now, like if you're talking about a standard, like a set that's being released in the standard, there's probably like 20 to 30 rares that if you open them and they don't wind up in your making your deck, like you just drafted wrong. Because every color is so deep that you can afford to just force one color and have your other color be like whatever is open. So I guess you can't... They took Spelunking out of the cube, so you can't do infinite mana in as many ways with this setup. I think Zeranorb is still in the cube, so I could do infinite mana if I get Zeranorb, which kind of makes me want to take Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista is also just generally like a very good card. Channel. Or Seeker's Chariot. Guess I'll take Channel. I don't usually like how Channel decks wind up working out. But I don't really like any of these other cards particularly. Seeker's Chariot would be okay. I don't mind having a few cards that are like a Seeker's Chariot in my deck, but I think it's very interchangeable with Questing Beast and the other 4/4 haste things. I don't want any of these cards. Not really. I guess Thalia is the most powerful card. I haven't gotten any fetch lands. That's always a problem when your draft starts like this. You do need to get fetch lands. And ideally they're fetch lands that are good colors. Channel Unexpectedly Absent to really get something at the bottom of their deck. It's a good idea. I was thinking about maybe Channel Walking Ballista to get some fast kills. Guess I have some white cards, so maybe I play with that. So like if it's turn 2 and you have channel, see, look at that. I thought I was getting Wooded Foothills, but it's the Stomping Ground, which I think is better than Chandra. If it's turn 2 and you just have channel and Walking Ballista, how big should you go with it? Like if you just make it a 5/5, that's 10 life. But you have a 5/5 Ballista on turn 2. I guess there are worse starts than that. I guess if I'm playing channel, I want cards like this. Can I believe Kwasali Pride Mage Wield? Honestly, I think if there was an option to just like not pick a card, it would go around the table 2 or 3 times. Like people would be getting it last pick and they'd be like, no, like, keep going. Creature with toughness 2 or less. It doesn't work that well for. I guess I can get Walking Ballista with it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm really going to play. I'm definitely going to play red just for Escape the Wilds, but I don't know if I'm going to play more than that. So there's the Emrakul and there's Through the Breach. The Emrakul almost never wheels, although it's bad in so many decks. There's a chance it could wheel. I really want to just take Fable of the Mirror Breaker, because it's the best card in this pack by so much. I think that's what I'm going to do. I wish I was streaming the other, I guess it was yesterday. I had somebody put Displacer Kitten into play against me, and I had Treachery in my hand, and yeah, they never got to untap again, because they conceded after I flickered my own Treachery like 5 or 6 times. So there's the Strip Mine, which I probably want. I am light on 1 mana cards. I think I would like this Noble Hierarch. It's the good form of Pest Infestation. Do I want Inti or do I want Lotus Cobra? Probably just Lotus Cobra. I think it's going to be better in this deck than the Pilgrim. There is still this problem that I don't have any fetch lands. I don't think... I definitely haven't passed any this pack. Last pack it's possible I passed some before I was really watching out for them. The Savannah, that doesn't help me. I can definitely afford to start burning picks on lands, because I've gotten mostly spells, but the really good lands have not been available to me. Like the Wooded Foothills is the land I want the most. Prismatic Vista. Really, any of the green fetches would be great. There's the Prismatic Vista. So I could go off maybe with this deck where I use Fast Bond to get out Tireless Tracker, get a bunch of clues, and then channel and just use all the clues up. Is this an endurance pick? I don't think the breeding pool is particularly useful to me, and I'm not going to play any of these other cards, so I guess so. Sylvan Library, sign me up. I can't believe they took Oracle of Moldiah out of the cube. It was actually good in decks like this, which, I mean, I guess it wasn't good in many other decks. But they left in the Shoba Brawler in the cube, so. Am I a Sylvan Library believer? Doesn't seem great. I always thought this card was pretty bad and constructed, but when you wind up with Courser Fastbond, I think it's pretty good. Also, when you're drafting the style of deck, you usually play a bunch of fetch lands. Or you're hoping to play a bunch of fetch lands. Also, Sylvan Library to set up how my map tokens are going to work out. How great would that be? So the Through the Breach did not wield, but the Emrakul wield. Is it possible I would play this thing? I kind of think it's not possible. Maybe I just want the Temple Garden. I do have some okay white cards. Manglehorn versus Raging Ravine. I think I'll take Raging Ravine. Manglehorn would definitely be a sideboard card. Ooh, I got the better Manglehorn. I might actually just play Nature's Claim. I like having 1-mana cards. The Palantir of Orthanc. Probably not going to play it. And I think unless I get Sneak Attack, I'm just going to play Emrakul to go with Channel. And hopefully I get some sort of infinite mana combo with the Excavator. Nissa is one of the really big payoffs for drafting this deck, but I think I have to take Mana Crypt. There's the Scape Shift. I'm not above just putting Valakut in my deck. This is a very disappointing pack so far. Guess I'm taking the Copperline Gorge. Just gonna play 1 mountain. So I guess that this is helping my mana some. I don't know. I don't really care about the Uvenwald Oddity. I would definitely love to get another fetch land. And an Augur of Autumn would be great. Fury. Is Titania gonna be good? It's pretty good. I think I'm going to take Titania, and if I see the Zern Orb in like the next, 3 more packs, I'm definitely going to take it and play it. Lotus Petal, close enough to Zern Orb that I should take it, or not. Another Eldrazi. I think they added an Eldrazi to the cube this time around, which is weird because the Eldrazi's just weren't very good to begin with. Am I in the market for a Dragon's Rage Channeler? This triggers off of all non-creature cards. I don't think I want Lotus Petal. And I don't think I want Time Twister. Valakut, but I didn't get the Dryad of Elysian Groves. Just sad. I guess I'm just taking Ignoble Hierarch. I'm probably not going to play this Dragon's Rage Channeler. It seems kind of terrible. There's Inferno Titan. And there's Manamorphose. I guess I want another expensive card. Regrowth, no thank you. Poor man's fetch land. It's not a fetch land. You like the Liberator a decent amount? It's like slightly better Qasali Pridemage. I'm not in the market for that. Guess I might actually play Palantir for Thank. I think it's not a super strong card. Maybe I don't have to play it. Ooh, Showdown. I think I will play Showdown. I have a Temple Garden and a Noble Hierarch, and I don't hate playing planes. Is there any other white cards that would be particularly good? I don't think the Recruit of the Guard counts. I don't think Thalia is easy enough to cast that should count. I think the choices are. I think I want to play 9 more lands. Then the choices are second Eldrazi, which I think is pretty bad when all I really have is Channel. Even the first Eldrazi is kind of weak, but I think my deck. I do think I'll be able to cast it by like turn 8 or 9 for 15 a decent amount of the time, even if I don't draw Channel. I don't think Recruiter of the Guard gets enough creatures I care about. I think it's really just one of these two. Jite is... I guess these both have Exalted, so they would actually be able to get counters if I really wanted them to. I guess I'll start with the Jite. One plane sounds good. I want more than one mountain. Probably not. Given that I started with Excavator and got Fastbond third, it's kind of disappointing that my deck didn't wind up better. Okay, I only have one actually good fetch. I did get the Strip Mine, but I didn't get Zern Orb, which usually if it's open, nobody else wants it. I didn't get like Once Upon a Time to kind of assemble some of my creature/land combos more easily. And I don't think did I pick all 3 Eldrazi? No, I passed one of them for something else. But I never saw Sneak Attack. Is Zern Orb Fastbond fetch? Infinite life. It's infinite mana, infinite life, but you have to also have Ramunap Excavator or Crucible of Worlds. This is what people fear. Turn 1, Sentinel of the Nameless City. It's a 4-card combo, like Zern Orb, Fast Bond, a fetch land, and a way to play lands out of your graveyard. But it's not going to work out very well for the opponent. Tails. I won the flip. Excellent. There's some redundancy with like some of the parts, and a lot of the cards are reasonable on their own. Zern Orb's the only one that's really kind of a stinker. But I do have another combo with Zern Orb in my deck where Zern Orb with the Titania, you can just convert all your lands into 5/3s at the end of your opponent's turn. Oh, come back. Well, I'm not boarding out Jitte. I guess the question is this a Soul Guide Lantern matchup? I don't really have anything that I like all that much better. I think Palantir Vorthank's kind of weak in my deck. That was just... It didn't matter if they blocked or not, because it was a Phantasmal Image. Like, they were right to block. I was going to kill their creature no matter what. There is this awkward situation here where I don't want my Soul Guide Lantern to eat my Prismatic Vista. I'll eat their Ancestral Recall. Also, I could have just played the Soul Guide Lantern before I cracked the Vista. Did they mulligan? Or did... Come on, Emrakul. I'm going to continue to do my best to draw Emrakul. Phantasmal Image is one of the cards that they added to the cube this time around. Yikes, that's a big boy. Come on, Emrakul off the top. think I'm going to live long enough that I can use the Courser. I'm going to go to 10 this turn. I guess I could go to 6 if they attack with the Colonnade. Yeah. Probably almost anything, any expensive card that they could cast there was going to be pretty bad for me. That might not even be that bad. I should probably take Nature's Claim out of my deck. I've seen a good amount of their deck now. It doesn't seem to be a Nature's Claim kind of matchup. I'm probably bored in Wings of Abandoned. I don't know if I'll change my mana base to make it so that I can overload it, though. Seems like they don't have great lands to get with the Primeval Titan, which is kind of nice, I guess. I'm in trouble that the card underneath that mountain wasn't a better card. I could have used the Vista, but it's the same. It's just like I'm getting to look at a random card that isn't the top card of my deck. Snap. Block there. Take 11. And Nature's Claim, my own creature. Don't have to chump, but I can't do anything, so I think I'm dead. Is this the best card? Could also just have Uli Moly in my deck. Maybe I'll just play with Uli Moly. Guess I'm bottoming Channel here. Is that right? Maybe I should just bottom this. I do have 2 really good top decks as long as I've got Channel in my hand and the Emrakul and the... Is it Uli Moly added to my deck or is it Kozilek on it? Whichever one blows up your opponent's land. That's the one I added. Uli Moly. Emrakul. Come on, Emrakul. Forest. Not ideal. Though I guess a land. If I wasn't going to draw one of those cards, drawing a land isn't the worst draw. And Ancestral Recall again. I hope I have a turn where I use Channel and I crack both a map token and a clue token in the same turn. That would be very nice. think it was worth strip mining there. Maybe not. Next turn I could channel, put the Sentinel into play, crack 2 clues and a map. I don't know if that's going to be worth doing though. Come on, don't have Teferi this turn. No Teferi, no Primeval Titan. If they're going to counter this, this is not going to be the world's greatest channel. They're channel Ancestraling, I think, in response to find something. Because I'm literally channeling. I'm going to like crack a clue, escape to the wilds. How do you use channel? What we get? Fast bond. Excellent. This has been a good turn so far, and it's only going to get better. Should probably be auto-yielding to some of this stuff. Hopefully I find the Lotus Cobra soon. Oh, they're giving up just because I was going to put the excavator in play and destroy all their lands. Boo. I recommend getting into Modern now, or should you into Modern Horizons 3? I have no idea. I probably haven't played Modern in 5 years. I mean, I would guess that probably Modern Horizons 3 is going to shake up what decks are good. So if you're worried about buying cards and having them go down in value a lot, you should probably wait. This is not the strongest channel fast bond start to a game. But if I draw a land, with my first draw, or if I draw Emrakul, it could get nice. That ain't it. They stole my Uvenwald Oddity. That's strange. I think Courser's better than Fable here, though. Well, it's kind of close. Well, they're either going to get Channel Emrakul, probably, or they're going to attack with the Ragavan and hit the Emrakul, which is also fine. Because I think if my Courser doesn't live and I'm getting hit by the Ragavan, I'm not going to want to draw this Emrakul. I don't think that's good enough. So my channel, I'm going to be going down to 4. Yeah, I know that they have Oko, but I'm going to take an extra turn, and I'm going to wind up. Actually going to attack the Oko, I think. Maybe should have attacked with the Courser before I did all that to see if I could just get them to actually just trade off some permanents. Because I do have to attack the Oko here. And they can sack it, so they can sack Oko, food, army, token, Bowmaster, land, maybe. Certainly you want to sack your Oko. I guess they didn't realize I was attacking the Oko. Or they were hoping the Oko just wasn't going to take damage. Oh, I think I should have boarded. I should have boarded Dragon's Rage Channeler in for the Lantern, probably. Just have another blocker for a turn 1 Ragavan. But given that they didn't play turn 1 Ragavan, I guess I'm happy I didn't do that. No Ragavan still. How should you get started in competitive Magic? Are you sure that you want to? Guess I'm actually should play a land first, because if I draw Fast Bond, I guess I'm gonna want to play it, and actually it wouldn't matter. If your goal honestly is like to get good enough at Magic to play on the Pro Tour, the way to do it is by starting to trying to start playing like Constructed on Magic Online. It's the best way to get good. You'll actually play against a lot of really good people that way, but it's like a very expensive pursuit to get into, and it's never been particularly rewarding, and it's like especially not rewarding now. But like just starting to play a lot of Pioneer on Magic Online is probably the best way to do it. And once you feel like you have a good handle on that, branch out into Modern or Standard. Which one are they shutting down? They shut down the Tireless Tracker. Probably the right choice. Eventually, you'll probably need to start playing in paper, but it's really hard to actually get to play enough paper to be competitive with people that play Magic Online. Well, there's the Fast Bond. I guess I have the Courser. It's annoying that my Tireless Tracker is shut off. I hope that they just chump attack with Tishana's Tidebinder. That would make this game easy for me. But I guess if they attacked, I probably wouldn't want to block, because I would assume it wasn't just a chump block or a chump attack. Like I said, all right, I'm not going to block. They couldn't have Embercleave. They didn't have double red, but I guess they could have Bowmasters. That's probably what they have. Oh, that's ugly. Didn't enjoy that one. I'm going to play Sylvan Library, but I'm probably not going to use it if they have mana up for Bowmasters, because it seems like they have Bowmasters in their hand. Is this game 2? Wow, how did I know they had Bowmasters? I had a hunch. Yes, I'm gonna shuffle them back in. Maybe it would have been better to have the Courser in my deck, although I would have to shuffle my deck before it would even start mattering. Well, that was kind of mean and gross. Didn't enjoy that at all. So if I use the Sylvan Library, I'm taking 2 damage and they're getting +2/+2 on their army. So I think it's probably, even though I need something, I think it's still not worth trying at this point. What good things could happen to me here? What card are they naming? They're naming Time Warp. This game's going to be impossible to win. What's my best draw? Even if I drew like, what's it called? Inferno Titan, they're just going to get Fractured Identity out of their graveyard and take it. So that's not really my best draw. I guess what I need to have happen is I need them to chump attack with their Bowmasters this turn. I guess they got Ragavan back, so that's actually... Now if I draw Inferno Titan, I might have a shot. I think I want to eat the Bowmasters over the Ragavan. Because it means that I get to use my Sylvan Library freely. Like, they're going to get 1 card. Hopefully they don't get something good here, but Lotus Cobra's okay. But after that, I'll be able to use Sylvan Library to make it so the Ragavan probably... The Ragavan stealing cards isn't going to matter as much. If they drew their Time Warp, I'm sad. Did I know they had Time Warp? I thought they named it and they missed, but maybe they hit and I just didn't know it. Oh, and they can actually go again after this turn. You can just cash their Tamiyo in for another turn. It's hard to win when somebody takes 3 turns in a row, especially when you're already losing. They had Tamiyo, which Soul Guide Lantern does a little bit, but I think Dragon's Rage Channeler just it's actually going to be better just for the extra protection against Ragavan. It's kind of bad against Bowmasters, but my deck is Bowmasters is pretty good against my deck. Even though I don't have that many ways to draw, I do have a lot of X1s. Seems like Walking Ballista would be really good if I could ever draw it. That actually would have been a draw last game that would have helped a lot. I guess one nice thing about Emrakul is when you draw it and you're trying to decide what to put back off of a mulligan, it's pretty easy for it to be the Emrakul. guess it doesn't matter. Using the map on the Sentinel because I'm getting the Exalted trigger anyway. Question is it better to use the map or to play the Dragon's Ridge Channeler? I think it might be better to just use the map. Which, that means I should have done that before I attacked. It's possible I would have just missed a point of damage. If it had been a non-land. Oh, that's gross. It was all. I didn't enjoy that. I enjoyed none of it. But they hit a Mox Diamond, haha. I think this is a card that I don't know that I've ever drafted it because people pick it so highly and I just think it's terrible. So that's like, that doesn't lead to being a card that you wind up with very often. It said, having all of my creatures die to Arc Trail plus Flame Slash means I probably lost. They hit Escape. It's going to be a good one for them next turn. They hit Escape again. So I can make a 3/3 Walking Ballista, not crack my map or my clue. I can make a 2/2 Walking Ballista and crack my map. Guess that's what I'm gonna do. I guess I need to be a little bit careful because I don't want to actually have to be forced into attacking with Dragon's Ridge Channeler this turn. I think I'm going to want to chump with it. Come on, brick on a land. I didn't brick on a land. Counterspell, Ragavan. That isn't that bad. The Counterspell's the scariest card, and they're not even going to be able to use it. Tameo. It's not going to be good that they're about to draw Tameo. Drawing Endurance next turn does not save me. Another mulligan. I cannot keep this Emrakul out of my hand. I was planning to strip mine their first land. The fact that they probed me means that's probably not what I want to do. Depends on what. If they play it like a Triome, I will strip mine it, but not expecting them to start out that way now. Worst case would be if they had crop rotation in their hand there and I went to strip mine them. That's a pretty juicy strip mine target. There's still this issue that they could have crop rotation, but I think it's worth gambling. Oh no, the Mox Diamond. I can't get away from it. I probably mistimed that. I probably should have waited until it was their turn to strip mine it. Do have endurance. Could be good. Probably not. They're a channel deck as well. little bit of land destruction from them. Do I care about endurancing them? I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to set up to Titania next turn. I'm surprised that they haven't flashed back the Faithless Looting yet. Kind of just accepted that they were going to get to do that. Pitched Craterhoof and Woodfall Primus. So they have to be some sort of Through the Breach sneak attack deck. Is anybody else disappointed they took Soul of Windgrace out of the cube? I am. Guess I'm just going to endurance them. It denies them 1 mana for next turn. I don't think that the extra 1 attack with the Oddity is going to matter. So by playing this way, I'm kind of -1 damage. In some ways, I'm more than -1 damage because I could have been flipping this next turn. Didn't even need it, though. All right, so this is definitely a Nature's Claim Soul Guide Lantern game. They have Urza's Saga and Ramunap Excavator, and it seems like the way their deck's built, they probably have sneak attack. And I've not been able to keep very many hands. You think I'm just going to draw a channel next turn? Maybe. I guess I'll feel bad if that's what happens. Or are you predicting they're going to have channel? Am I getting channeled here? They didn't seem to... They discarded a bunch of things that were not great channel things. Like Woodfall Primus and Craterhoof Behemoth. Well, that's not that bad. It's going to kill my Lotus Cobra, which isn't exciting, but could have been worse. And you knew I was going to draw the channel. Why didn't you tell me to keep the Emrakul? So I predict next turn I'm gonna draw Fast Bond Strip Mine and something else. My opponent has the early intel on whether or not that's gonna happen. What are they doing? I'm getting sneak attacked. Getting natural ordered. Okay. Glad I played the Tireless Tracker, because at least I can block this Lelia, which sadly I'm forced to do. Vamp Tutor. Strip Mine would be a decent draw. I think it's going to be pretty hard for me to win this game. But probably not impossible. What do you think they tutored for? I bet they're about to play it, whatever it is. Sneak attack. Okay. Oh, I could have gotten a Faithless Looting. Whoops. I assume they have Craterhoof Behemoth in their hand. I'm going to die, but maybe they just tutored for the sneak attack, just hoping that they would draw something that would turn it to be lethal. Come on, bluff sneak attack. Is it a bluff? No, it was an Eldrazi. What is this one? Annihilator 4. They have something else? Come on, keep a 7-card hand. Guess this is keepable. It's actually pretty good. Please don't channel something into play. That makes me sad. That's certainly fine. Oh, I'm gonna have to kill that instead of getting to play my showdown, I think. Sending them back 1 mana, especially when it's like a second green mana and they're playing Channel, I think it's just too important. For all the fun it would be to cast Showdown on the Scalds and maybe get to like do something cool with the Excavator and Fast Bond, which I guess I had 2 cool. No, I had 1 cool game with Fast Bond. Then I had 1 game where my opponent time spiraled me into Fast Bond and I didn't do anything. And I had 1 game where I channeled an Emrakul into play, but for the most part, I haven't gotten to do much cool stuff with this deck, which is saddening. Is it better to play the Oddity or to play Showdown? Probably going to take 4 damage this turn. It'll be at 12. I think it might be better to play Showdown. If I hit Strip Mine, it would be great. Even if I don't hit anything too great, next turn I'll have the Showdown triggering with Welcome Ballista in play, which will make for a very powerful turn. Did I hit Strip Mine? I did. Did I hit Fast Bond? I did. I guess I'm not going to get very many triggers off of the Showdown next turn, though. They have to be in a lot of trouble. Sneak attack doesn't... Well, I guess they could have... If they had Mox Diamond, plus land, plus sneak attack, plus another land, plus a creature, that's what, 5 cards? They could maybe do something. Is this no lands for the opponent? Oh, yeah. I forgot I had Ramunap Excavator in play. I should have destroyed all their lands. That was bad. That was real bad. I could have done better than just destroying all their lands. Could I? Is there a way I could have gotten the Lotus Cobra into play with the Strip Mine untapped? I guess not. But yeah, I should have destroyed all their lands. Why didn't I replay the Strip Mine? Because I forgot that I had Ramunap Excavator in play. They should have attacked with the Hierarch to send a message. I did send a message. The message was, I screwed up, but I'm still going to win. All right, that's it for me for today. I'm fading. I missed the Strip Mine all of their lands play, which, after how excited I was to hit Fast Bomb, was kind of sad. Anyway, thanks for watching. I might try to stream one of those 64-man cube things over the weekend if my schedule works out for doing that. If not, I'll probably make some alchemy content next week. So hope to see you then.